I welcome you all to this quiz on the questions of fact and questions of law. The answer is C, mixed question of fact and law. Let us see why. To know whether a car is overspeeding or not, we need to see two speeds. The first is the speed that is the speed limit. The second is the actual speed at which the car was going. Now, to know the speed limit, we have to look at the law because the law will state whether the speed limit is 60 or 70 or 80. On the other hand, to know the speed of the car, we simply look at the speed of the car, which is a fact. This fact can be maybe ascertained from a camera. Therefore, in order to know whether it has been challaned properly or not, we need to see the first speed, which is the speed limit, which is a question of law. The second is the speed of the car, which is a question of fact. Therefore, this determination is a mixed question of fact and law. The answer is B, question of law. We all know that a 5-year-old cannot be punished for a crime. This is because Section 82 of the Indian Penal Code stipulates so, and therefore the answer to this question lies in the law. Remember, the age of the boy is a question of fact, but whether or not he should be punished is a question of law. The answer to this is questions of law. The Supreme Court is a court of appeal as opposed to being a trial court. The trial court concern themselves with questions of fact. However, the Supreme Court, being the highest court of appeal, largely confines its activities to substantial questions of law. To learn more about this, you can look at the Constitution of India from Article 132 to 136. The answer to this question is A, question of fact. It is important for us to understand that grave and sudden provocation is given as an exception to Section 300. Yes, that is the law. However, whether to determine whether a provocation was grave enough or not is a question of fact. Let me give you an example. Let us say A was given a provocation by B, which was that B used certain abusive words. Let us say B called A some abusive words. Now, are these words grave enough for him to get the defense? Well, this is a question of fact because you will see as to what the words were and whether these words actually troubled A. In order to decide this, you do not need to look at the law. You simply look at the facts, and therefore it is a question of fact. The same is also stated in the section. You can have a look at the Indian Penal Code, and you will find that wherever grave and sudden provocation is spoken of, it is stated to be a question of law. The answer is A, question of fact. Section 46 of the Indian Contract Act stipulates that whenever there has been no specification of time of performance, then the performance must take place within a reasonable time. Now, what is reasonable time? This depends on the facts of the case. For example, what is reasonable when you have 100 bags of rice might be different when it is 100 bags of ice cream. And therefore, to determine what is reasonable, you do not have to look at the law, you simply look at the facts. And therefore, this is a question of fact.